Hi, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Bramble Fox, and I'm using the new Time for Tea set that's available in the store, and I'm really happy about this set because Morag's done a few coffee related items in the past, and I absolutely detest coffee, but my little boy and I love tea, so it's great to have some tea related perspectives. So you've got this set with the black and white acrylic, but she's also done a couple of other little sets that have got sort of teacups and teapots and things in different colours, but I'm going for the black and white set today, and I'm going to go for a kind of monochrome layout, quite heavy on the mixed media, which is something I haven't done for it feels like a long time. I just really felt like getting messy and getting some inks and stamps out, so I'm going to have a bit of fun. I've got this new stamp set from Tim Holtz. I saw somebody else using them recently and I've been looking for something like this for ages, so glad that I've finally found something. And I'm using a couple of ink pads. So I've got a Distress Oxide, which is the blue colour, which is Mermaid Lagoon, and I've got a green Distress ink, which is Maude Lawn. I don't have that in an oxide, so I think that's the next one on my list to get. But I'm just stamping that stamp down on the ink pad and then stamping it down on my page. Then I decided I wanted to have a little bit more sort of vivid colour as well. So I wanted the kind of effect that the stamp gives with the kind of the edges of the stamp kind of fading out, but I also wanted to have some quite vivid colours on top. So I'm using the same two shades, and I'm using a scouring sponge, and this is a technique I saw Josephine use a while back, and it works really well for mixed media, so thank you, Jay, for that tip. And I'm just dabbing that into some watered down ink and then dabbing it down on my page, and then finishing that off with some splatters. And I've stuck to the same blues and greens because I'm using 49er Market's new Spectrum Sherbet collection. It's my first play with the collection. I absolutely love how this layout turns out. But you get kind of the blues and greens in the collection, and then you get the pink and yellow shades as well. So I'm just using blues and greens for this layout. And I've got my mixed media, as you can see there, arranged in two kind of corners, and then off camera I've taken my layout away and added some black stitching to match my teapot there, my black perspective. Now in hindsight, a lot of my stitching does get covered up, which I thought it might do as I was doing it. I've stitched a square on the page, going through my areas of mixed media, but I've also added a couple of areas of zigzag stitching for a sort of bit more heavier effect. Some of that does get covered up, but I've realised at this point that I think a lot of my mixed media will get covered, so I'm just coming back in with that stamp. I'm not using acrylic block this time, I'm just using my fingers and just the edge of the stamp that's got that kind of fading out detail, and I'm using that because I want the texture that that stamp brings. So I've just extended my mixed media out a little bit and made it a bit heavier, and now I'm coming in with some black ink for a bit of drama, and I'm using a one of the Ranger that's the word I'm looking for, re-inker bottles. So these are for kind of re-inking your stamp pads when they dry out, but I love to use this black one for my splatters, and just water it down on a bit of packaging, or my good old Bramble Fox packaging. I always keep my packaging for my mixed media, and then just with a paintbrush just adding some splatters, and heavier in some areas than other, and I love the drama that gives and the way that the black pops against the colours on the background. So I'm done with my mixed media now. I've rolled a paper towel over it just to soak up some of that excess ink, and I'm just leaving it for a few seconds now to dry whilst I work on my photo. And I've gone for a black and white photo today, just in keeping with that monochrome theme. I didn't want to introduce any more colours, and the background of my photo had like the wooden fireplace and cream of my walls and silver mirror in the background. I didn't want any of that, so I've gone for black and white, and I've cut it slightly smaller than 3x4, just because 3x4 was a bit big on this page. I've only got that kind of internal square area where I've done my stitching to work with, so I needed a slightly smaller photo. I have my photo down on the bottom left there, and I'm just now flicking through the bits and pieces I've got from Spectrum Sherbet just to see what I can use. I want to use little things and lots of them in this, so I'm just going through the I can't remember what it's called. There's two different shades in this collection. You get I think the pink and yellow side of things are called like pink lemonade or something. and then I've got the blue and green stuff. It's probably called like blue lemonade or something. I can't remember, but I'm going through the blue and green die cut pack, seeing what I've got. So I've pulled out a little viewfinder there and I've cut that in half. I've got a couple of frames and tickets and tags and things. There's some circular bits I'm going to bring in as well, just lots of little things to cluster. I've also got the die cut leaves and florals, so I'm bringing loads of those in. I'm kind of making L shapes, so I've got an L shape behind my photo, and then a kind of upside down back to front L shape along the top, so kind of 2 right angles if you like, and those are the lines I'm working with for my embellishing. I've also got this gorgeous pack of acetate leaves, so I'm bringing some of these in as well. Kind of gives almost a shiny texture to the layout, and I'm just building on these clusters. And you can see here I'm doing my usual, adding loads and loads in, building these clusters, layering them up and loving how it looks. And now I've got to find a way to stick all of this down without disturbing it too much, which is just typical of me. I'm trying to keep my desk tidy as I go here and putting things away as and when I can. I've poured a lot of the die cuts into some white plastic pots on my desk, you can see here, just because I'm going to be dipping in and out of them. It just makes things easier. So I've got one for the die cut pack, I've got another one that I've got the sort of die cut leaves and florals in, and then I think I've put the acetate leaves away so that they don't get muddled. But I'm just going through, pulling out little bits here and there that I can add. I think I put the other half of the viewfinder at the top above my teapot in the end. I'm going to have my teapot at an angle so it kind of looks like it's pouring tea, and I'll have my white tea bags kind of dangling down from that. I'm going to pop some embroidery floss through those. There we go, I'm just getting those in place. So yeah, just lots of little things. I've got a label that says filled with joy that I'm going to put underneath my tea bag, and then I've got teapot rather, and then I've got another one that says today that I've got underneath my photo, just because that area was looking a little bit bare. I wanted something under there. I didn't necessarily want any more leaves or florals, so that kind of fishtail tab there that says today was perfect. And then I'm placing my little teacup on top of that because I've got my photo of my little boy with his tea down there, so that's where I'm going to have my little teacup. And then the teapot kind of almost looks like it's pouring down towards the teacup. And I've gone for a kind of aquamarine embroidery floss that I've threaded through my tea bags, and they're perfect because they've got a little slot at the top there for you to add either like twine or embroidery floss or cotton, whatever you're going with, ribbon even, and they've got a little slit at the top cut out, so it's perfect for you to add something through there. And now I'm just going to work my way around. I'll probably fast forward through this because it's going to take ages, but I'm just using wet glue for the acetate leaves and then foam pads just for everything else, just to bring in a little bit of dimension and build up the layers and clustering. So there we go, I skipped through the rest of the sticking it down process for you. It took me a while. And I'm just trimming off the top of that embroidery thread, so the ends are kind of like nestled either underneath my teapot or in amongst a cluster now, so you can't really see the ends, so that worked out well. I've added a couple of butterflies as well, and now I'm just going to finish off with a few more splatters. As predicted, I've covered a lot of my mixed media and stitching up, so I just want to extend that mixed media a little bit more by adding in some more splatters, and it gives a bit more drama as well. And just that corner area there by my photo, I didn't really have anything, so just adding in some splatters there. And again, using that black re-inker, the Mermaid Lagoon Distress Oxide and Mode Lawn Distress Ink, and just watering them down there, covering my photo just with my foam pads as I go because I don't want big black splatters on my little boy's face. And that is me done. And I really love how this one turned out. Like I said, it's been a long time since I got quite messy with mixed media. It feels like forever since I've done any mixed media really. Especially wet mixed media, so I really enjoyed this one, and that collection from 49 and Market is just gorgeous as well, so I had a lot of fun at playing with that. And I love the monochrome look on the layout. That black teapot and teacup just really stand out amongst the sort of the turquoises and the blues and greens, so really love how this one turned out, and I hope it's given you some inspiration. Like I said, there's a couple of other tea sets appearing in the shop as well, so for those of you like me who detest coffee, finally we have some tea perspectives festive, so really excited for that. But thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it and got some inspiration from it. I'll pop some links down as always in the description box to our Bramble Fox box subscription page, also to the store, and also to our Bramble Fox Friends Facebook group. So if you're not already a member, do head on over and join. So I'll leave you with the last few close-ups and I'll see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.